Hello, friends, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots. You can find the Fort Worth Roots podcast on all of your favorite streaming services, Pandora, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. We also have videos associated with these accounts on YouTube. Just go to Fort Worth Roots if you need to get a hold of us for any reason at all. Our email is media@fortworthroots.com, and we're actually very good about getting back to people on our social media DMs. So if you want to slide in those DMs, we'll get back to you. Fort Worth Roots is a local podcast that is Fort Worth centric. We do a morning show Monday through Thursday. It releases to you guys at 9 a.m. covering weather, local news stories, and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But it's supposed to be a 20-minute snapshot to get you ready for your day on your way to work, dropping the kiddos off, whatever you got going on. We're here for you. But we need your support. We need you guys to tune in and check it out. And if you're a business, a 501c, or a local creator, whether that's a musician, an author, or an artist, anything that falls into that category, we are here to support you. You can call in 817-988-1292 and leave us a message. It sounds a lot better if you'll take a MP3 format file of you talking about your upcoming event. This could be a gig, this could be a vendor market, whatever. Just any kind of event. But you can send that MP3 file to media@fortworthroots.com and we will play it on the show. That is the entire purpose of the morning show, is to connect the community with what's happening in our backyard. So check that out. We also do a Tuesday night live recording at a place called McFly's Pub, and you guys are welcome to come out. We have a wireless mic that gets passed around the room. If you've got anything to say or add to the conversation, we welcome that. Shortly after that, either our guest or the open mic guest for Tommy Luke will be playing music. So there's so much going on a Tuesday, and it's early. It starts at 5. Fort Worth Roots is done by 7 o'clock, and then the open mic starts just right after that with Tommy Luke and Dippy Dog. So Fort Worth Roots is doing a lot of different things to try to connect you with the community, and we hope you can get behind that. The podcast is one leg of it. The social media content is one leg of it. And then us going out and connecting with the community in person is something else that we do. Today we got to step inside of a local legendary location, a place that I've wanted to visit and record in for a very long time. There's nothing more Fort Worth than Billy Bob's Texas. And you can find them on Instagram as their name spelt out, Billy Bob's Texas. It says the world's largest honky-tonk, open daily. Grab a bite to eat, take a spin in the dance floor, and explore decades of music history. And they're not kidding. This place is incredible. You could get lost in here just enjoying all the stuff that they've accumulated over the years with QR codes on the wall to explain exactly what you're looking at. They have handprints on the wall from celebrities that have graced the Billy Bobs over the years and put their hands into a plaster, and QR codes right next to it to let you know what was going on that day and the full story behind those handprints. And that's just one of the things that you can check out there. Great place to grab a bite to eat for lunch. Wonderful venue for music and dancing and bull riding. So there's so much going on here. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We sit down with Amanda Banda from Billy Bob's as we explore a 40-year anniversary book, just kind of going over the history of Billy Bob's. We're looking to do a lot more work with these guys in the future, so stay tuned for that. Again, thank you for being here, and let's start the show. Hello, friends, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Fort Worth Roots. I got Amanda Banda from Billy Bob's Texas with me today. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, how are you?
Good. We've got the audio kind of tricked out, trying to block out some of the noise. They're doing a sound check right now. They're getting ready for a show. Who's playing tonight?
Dylan Wheeler.
Dylan Wheeler.
Yes.
I'm embarrassed to say I don't know who that is.
Well, he's going to be your new favorite as soon as you look him up.
Do me a favor. Pull that mic as close to your mouth as you can, since we're...
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's even better.
Cool.
You hear yourself better?
I still hear a little bit, but that's okay.
Good. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having Fort Worth Roots out here. This is extremely exciting for us.
I'm excited for you.
Amanda gave me this book. This is Billy Bob's Texas, 40 years at the world's largest honky-tonk. And I did scan through it, but I've got a terrible memory. So I was like, we're just going to work our way through this book. But for those of you that have never you've been living under a rock, you've been to Fort Worth, but you've never been to Billy Bob's, Texas, you've got to check this place out. It is a must-stop inside Cowtown. Of course, you already know about the stockyards. Hopefully, even tourists know about the stockyards. This is
Hopefully,
part
I'm
of
doing my
it.
job well enough that everybody knows.
You are.
About
You are. Do
Billy
y'all
Bob's,
ever have a
Texas.
slow night, really?
We have slow days.
Right? Yeah, we talked about that for sure.
Yep.
All right, so can they pick up a book like this? Is this
Absolutely,
in the gift
yeah.
shop?
We sell this in the gift store, and we do sell it online as well. I
Mine's,
can autograph it if you come in person.
mine is getting autographed today by
Yeah.
Amanda. So,
Happy to.
and you always look great, but it looks like you dressed up just to be on the Fort Worth roots. I know you have a thing
did.
tonight, but I'm pretending like you did it just for us.
I could have totally just worn my normal casual, and I dressed up exactly for you guys.
Yes,
so,
thank
yeah,
you
yeah.
so much. All right, so here's the synopsis of the book.
Yes.
Established in 1981, the building, now known as Billy Bob's, Texas, was built in 1910. It was once an open-air barn used to house prize cattle for the Fort Worth Stock Show. In 1936, as a Texas Centennial project, the building was enclosed by the city of Fort Worth at a cost of $183,500, which back then was a ton of money.
Yep.
And the tower over the main entrance was added. The new structure contained livestock stalls and an auction ring that is now Billy Bob's Bull Riding Arena. Livestock events were held there until the stock show moved to the Will Rogers Memorial Complex in 1943, which has now been moved to Dickey's Arena.
Dickey's Arena.
Yeah. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. During World
Love
War
that.
II, the building was used as an airplane factory, and in the 1950s, the building became a department store so large that the stock boys wore roller skates to make their jobs easier.
Yes.
On April 1st, 1981, Billy Bob, Barnett, and Spencer Taylor brought their urban cowboy-themed nightclub to life when they opened Billy Bob's, Texas. And that's when that movie came out, the
That's right.
Urban Cowboy.
And April 1st, they picked, in case it was a failure, they could say, April Fools.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes.
Does it explain that in the book, or is that a Amanda Banda?
I don't know, but that is factual. Billy Bob Barnett is still a friend of the club. He's no longer an owner, but he does visit pretty often, and he always talks about that.
Excellent. And I think the next page might even be a little bit about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after closing briefly in 1988, the club reopened with a little help from some well-known and respected Fort Worth families.
Yep.
Billy Minnick, Holt Hickman, and Steve Murrin, excuse me, and Don Jury.
Yep.
Are they still part of the show here?
Billy Minnick comes in pretty often, at least once a week. Holt
cool.
Hickman has passed on.
Okay.
Steve Murrin, you can catch around the stockyards. He wears the same getup. He's as featured here in this photo. A big old hat, a big white mustache.
Huge mustache.
He tucks his jeans in his boots, and he usually has a handkerchief on him somewhere. And Don Jury is actually still involved with us. He's our CFO, so he takes care of all of our finances.
I don't think Tom Selleck could put a candle to Steve Murrin's mustache.
Yeah, that's classic right there. That's classic cowboy.
It's pretty
for
extreme.
Sure.
Got the red sash.
Yeah.
Whole 9 yards. Get up.
Yes. Every now and then he'll show up. He brings an RV so he can just party all night and just sleep out in the RV.
Out here on the side lot.
Drink responsibly, people.
That's the move. 100%.
Yes.
So it's Fort Worth Roots is all about local businesses, and I know there's all sorts of investors with Billy Bob's, but you guys still have a very strong local feel and ties to the local community. I mean, there's nothing more Fort Worth than Billy Bob's.
I think that really does say something to the fact that a lot of our our neighbors or the community in general, and I say community all the way to Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, because everybody will reach out. Hey, we want to do this. We want to do that. We want to auction off something from Billy Bob's that will have the draw enough for them to be successful. So I get thank you emails a lot from the stuff that we donate to all kinds of nonprofits or just special things that are happening for teachers, EMS, kids, whatever. We donate to a lot of things so that way we can have our community feel the hug that we want to give them. And then also eventually they're going to grow up and want to have some place to go and come right here. Neighborhood
Right.
Billy Bob's.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah.
And there's no second place. There's only Billy Bob's. It's not like, well,
Right.
what else is like Billy Bob's in Fort Worth or in Texas? There's just
Yeah.
not one.
No.
And I know you said that there's something comparable to it out there. We don't even have to name drop that one, but this is still
there's
unique.
Other music venues, but we're 100,000 square foot, really 120,000 square foot. Where else can you find live bull riding on the Fridays and Saturday nights?
No other place has
Please
that,
tell
right?
me, enlighten me. I know you can go to a full rodeo, but they may not have a concert, whereas here we have both elements.
Yeah.
Adding those elements that tourism drives the factor and the love for. So we just
Yeah.
keep it genuine here. We keep it going every weekend.
And something that I think a lot of people might not know about, I certainly had forgotten. I think I kind of knew, but I forgot. You guys do have a restaurant here inside Billy Bob's, and there's always been one.
Yes.
From the book, when the club first opened in 1981, there was the Greasy Spoon, followed by the Texas Point Restaurant and Club. And then it says JJ Oyster Bar served up seafood and crawdads in what is now the Guitar Bar. The Honky Tonk Kitchen took over the dining space in the 2000s and continues to operate daily, serving guests locally sourced, handmade Southern staples.
Yes.
I got a little tongue-tied there.
Yes.
But, yeah, tell us about this kitchen. I mean,
Man, I eat here regularly. And it's not one of those things like, oh, I have to promote the food because I work here. No, when someone asks me, I genuinely tried a lot of things, if not everything, on the menu. And I'm eating a healthier lifestyle now, and there's still plenty of options for me on the menu.
Excellent.
If people want to come and have authentic barbecue, that is on the menu. But if you're a chicken person instead of a beef person, plenty of chicken options on the menu.
Yeah.
Lots of cool and good stuff for kids or anybody with any kind of diet restriction. There's still something on the menu. We've actually worked really hard on that after the pandemic. Being the fact that we had a restaurant, we were able to reopen as a restaurant, so that was another added benefit. But we also got to curate, well, these are fan favorites, and these really aren't. Let's find something else that we can put maybe a little bit more green, reinvent something, or highlight something. So every now and then, too, there'll be a cool special featured by one of the cooks back there. There's somebody who's whipped something up, and we've all liked it, and so they feature it as a special.
Did I tell you I don't know that they're the chefs. I ran into two of your staff from the kitchen one night at McFly's for one of our Tuesday nights.
Really?
They had no idea that you and I had been conspiring behind the scenes. And so they walked up and they had their Billy Bob shirts on. I was like, hey, do you know Amanda Banda? They're like, yeah. I was like, I know her too. So anyway, it was a cool moment for me.
2 degrees from Amanda. Yeah.
Take that, Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
With your 3 degrees.
Who I've also met. So I'm only 1
I'm
degree
sure
from
you
Kevin
have.
Bacon.
So I don't know if you've been following along on our social media. We just went to Far West Texas.
Yes.
And we stopped off in Marfa, and we went to Marfa Burrito, and we got a shot of the famous wall with all the famous people, and Kevin Bacon's up there.
Of course he is. He's most famous.
It's not just that he's famous. It's like only the really cool Hollywood stars are up on that wall.
I love that.
It's not like
it's
everybody.
Exclusive. It has to be. Yeah.
You got Matthew McConaughey. Let's see who else is up there. You got Anthony Bourdain. Rest in peace, right?
Oh my gosh,
but
what a legend.
He really put that place on the map.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
That's
then
cool.
of course Kevin Bacon and I forget this name. The guy that played Hulk.
Lou Ferrigno?
No, the newer guy. The new guy.
Only one that I know. Oh, Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So anyway, I just thought that was cool.
That is pretty cool.
Anyway.
Whoa.
But as iconic as Marfa Burrito is, like, you guys draw everybody. You get all the names here.
We do.
And,
being the world's largest, there's people from all over the world that come by. And literally, I will walk around and see somebody with their, total tourist look. They got a hat on probably backwards. Or they have a camera on a stick somehow, they're taking pictures and just documenting everything, which makes my heart swell because I'm like, yes, it's going to be on social media.
Right.
They're going to share it with the world or their friends, whatever, their world. But I stop them all the time. I'm like, hey, you guys hungry? We got a restaurant here. Did you check out our gift store? You're from somewhere else. Tell everybody you can about Billy Bob's. How much fun you're having? Whatever.
You could use just an ambassador out here walking around, because as I was setting up the Fort Worth Roots mobile podcast studio, and if you guys are watching the video, you can see it on YouTube. But had two gentlemen walk up to me, and they had a very heavy accent. They're like, hey, do you have a phone charger? And I went through my equipment bags, and I'm like, I know I do. And he had an iPhone charger, so I didn't have that adapter.
Yeah.
And then he goes, wait a minute, what's that?
Yeah.
There's a charger right behind me.
Mobile charging station right here.
Anyway, the reason I bring it up is they were both from Australia. And, you 2 degrees of separation from Amanda Banda, but it's like 1 degree of separation from every country in the world right here in the stockyards.
That's right.
So you can't go down exchange one end to the other without running into people from like 40 different countries.
So true.
And they seem to cycle in here as well.
They do, and that just means marketing works, because I am putting it out there everywhere. We've had the opportunity to just advertise anyone who wants to know about Billy Bob's, even if it's one small bit of interest.
Yeah.
Get them through the door. That's that's where the magic happens.
So as I was setting up, another thing that was going on, you all had a dance class going on.
Yes.
What is that?
So that was actually a booked private event.
Okay.
So we have a couple of instructors, and they're not doing anything during the week. And some people just I want to bring my bachelorette party, my girl group, my birthday party, just to come have some private lessons.
Right.
Kind of gather that experience. why not be here at the best dance floor in the Stockyard for sure, with the professional to teach you how to dance. That's what happened earlier.
I was leading into a segue here with our book. We're now at a picture of a bunch of people dancing around, doing the honky-tonk stuff. Pictured left page, couples dancing in the early 1980s, group of dancers learning to line dance in the late 1980s. Picture above, the dance floor packed with line dancers in the 1990s.
Yes.
So you guys are doing regular classes out here.
We do. On Sundays, we have dance lessons, classes like with actual paid admission. It's like, I think, $5, I think. And then we have Wednesday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Thursday nights are college night, and people aren't doing lessons, but they're all packed on the dance floor dancing. And then we have Saturday noon, line dancing and lunch. I offer it many a times to learn from professionals or from just other people who are a little bit more experienced than myself even.
I've done this before, and I know that I can do it, but it's still like there's some apprehension there. But I bet you've got some fun people here. There's no judgment, I'm sure.
Well, it's definitely liquid courage, just in case.
There's
you
that.
can either not care or, really care. I don't know. But yeah, no, definitely no judgment for sure. It is from beginners. We want novices here. Actually, if we see more experienced people in the crowd, we're like, hey, help us teach the others. Yeah. And they usually do.
You see them every once in a while if you go to like a dance hall or something like this. They've been doing this their whole lives, and it is impressive.
Right.
Like,
oh, yeah.
My God, how many Olympic medals do you have in this?
Well, another thing, too, about the dance lessons is everyone likes dancing under that rhinestone saddle.
Yeah,
something about
cool.
that's a little special, I
think we're going to get to that. I think that was one of the pages I marked.
Yep.
Real bulls, no steel bulls. That's in the book. The live bull riding arena inside the facility separates Billy Bob's Texas from any other live music destination in the world. After finding success in 1982 with the world's richest bull, did I say that right? The world's richest bull riding, the club began bucking bulls every Friday and Saturday night before the concerts. World champions, including Tough Hedeman, Lane Frost, Ty Murray, and Adriano Morris, have all tested their professional bull riding skills in the arena. So I'm having trouble thinking because
fun fact, Billy Minnick, one of our owners, also rode bulls.
Did he?
Yeah, we have a little tribute to him. Got to find it. Got to come to the club and find it.
Well, that's another fun thing that I wanted to point out. You can walk around this place literally for hours and just look at all the stuff on the walls. There's so much history, and you guys have done a good job of curating it and displaying it so that people, whenever they come in here for the first time, have all that history right there at their fingertips.
One of the things people ask us when they come in, I used to work in the ticket office, so they would ask us, well, what's going on in here? If it was like, let's say, a Monday afternoon. We're like, well, right now we're kind of like a self-guided tour, a museum. Look at all the things. And I would tell people, look up, look down, look all around, because it's literally everywhere.
Yeah.
And now we have QR code stories so people can scan with their phones and read about whatever happened when Lainey Wilson, what happened that day when Lainey Wilson put her handprints in concrete,
and
or
that's
Willie
fairly
Nelson
new,
or
right?
whatever. Yeah, probably within last couple, maybe 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We really used, again, pandemic time. We were shut down, so we had a lot of free time on our hands, and we just kind of, how else can we elevate the element of an experience for people when we do open it again?
Yeah.
So
and this book is really thorough, and it does take us all the way to COVID times.
Yep.
And I would encourage somebody to pick up this book if they come in here. And if you don't buy it, at least take a look at it. You should buy it. But anyway, we're not going to get through everything in this book. But I did dog-ear this one because it's just wall-to-wall, celebrities, people getting their start. And this page here talks about our first 3 or 4 handprints are not even around because we did them in bus tubs from the restaurant. We didn't have a form. We had maintenance make one out of wood, and it was so heavy we could hardly carry it.
Yep.
It's just kind of evolved over the next year or so. That was from Robert Gallagher, Billy Bob Texas Entertainment Director. Is he still with you guys?
Absolutely. He was just in his office a minute ago. He is the what we have dubbed the America's Grandpa. He's just a party. I mean, he's going to be out partying everyone forever. But he's just an element of Billy Bob's now, just like bull riding arena. He is just part of us.
Yeah.
We tell everyone he came with the building. He's just part of us.
Like
now.
Kathy up front.
That's right. Just like Kathy, the receptionist. They came with the building.
I walked in today, and you had a different receptionist. I was like, how's Kathy? Is Kathy okay? Where's Kathy?
You are not the first one to do that. A lot of people do that. They're like, where is she? We're used to her being here during the day.
You and I walked in the back and took a little video in this room that is just floor to ceiling with signatures from people that have made their way through here either as an artist or a guest. And I just wanted to ask you about it. And could you tell us a story about that back room? Because now you've had to lock it down because people are people. And so it's kind of closed off to the public.
Sometimes you can't have nice things. No, it used to be kind of just like a bathroom wall kind of thing where people were just signing willy-nilly, including Willie Nelson. But they would sign all around and, just kind of bubble their area and kind of just, keep whatever. And they'd have band members signing. And then it became more structured, where now everyone has their square. So as an artist gets the privilege to sign on the wall, they'll have their own dedicated square. The band members, family members, whoever's with their crew can sign in that square.
Very nice.
So it's not just signing underneath Willie Nelson like you're part of his crew.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we had to lock it down. Unfortunately, some people went through there and tried to be part of someone's band or maybe their favorite artist, I love you forever kind of thing. And that's not what it's for. It's for the backstage element of exclusivity, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, the fact that the artists get to come back and see their, I remember when I was signed the wall for the first time.
Back in the 80s.
Right, or whatever it is. Yeah, we do have some people coming looking for their square, and maybe they don't perform anymore, but it's just kind of that nostalgic part. We're like, once before when I was high in my career, I got to do this and it was still there. But yeah, it's really special to artists now. It's just even more special than it used to be before. Back then we were just commemorating who was there. Now we're just keeping that rich history and adding to the new parts, right? So we've got a bunch of diversity, a bunch of different artists that come through now. So
and I really dig on stuff like that. And whenever you took me back there, I was just blown away by it. It's a very special room.
It has its own cool element, a little electricity back there.
Yeah, for sure. I also I get the same kind of buzz when I walk into like a old school recording studio where people have been through and recorded massive art that has stood the test of time. And there you are, humbly.
Yes.
And here we are. This is one of the things that caught my attention. Billy Bob, Texas, reopened in August of 2020. Yeah, it's got a bandana across the
photo bull.
The photo bull's face. 2020 with new safety protocols and procedures as well as limited capacity. At the time of publishing this book, there was still no path back to normal for live music events. And honestly, and Amanda, you might be able to comment more intelligently on this, but I feel like, we have not gotten back to normal at all. It just economically and the live music scene. Yep. But when it comes to Billy Bob's, you guys are crushing it, and there's always great events here. So I know that the future of Fort Worth music is safe at Billy Bob's.
Yes.
I hate to see so many local venues around town that are struggling and ripping their stages out. I mean, it's really become a disaster since 2020, but I'm so glad you guys included that in your book because it's an important part of the history.
For sure. And the new normal, you can't even really call it normal, right? Really, it's more about adapting.
Yeah.
How can we evolve from this unfortunate time in our history? And we've all lived through it now. We learn from it, hopefully. Number one, be kind to each other, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of craziness that was happening all at once. But we adapted as a venue. The fact that we had the restaurant kind of helped us open earlier than a lot of other places.
Right, yeah.
Exist at least some kind of revenue. We have over 250 employees, and a lot of them were without jobs, just like almost every other person around here was without a job at home, twiddling their thumbs.
Yep.
The genius part of it for us was that we got the chance to really dive deep. The things we always wished we could change for the experience of the guest, what were those things? Let's start looking through that list.
Yeah.
The seating was a problem. The showroom layout was a problem. Everyone felt like sardines. That was a phrase that people would use
I remember
so
that.
often.
Yeah.
How can we change that to better that for when we do hopefully get to open again, back to full capacity? It's just going to be bigger, better, faster. How can we do that? So the key was to be adaptive, evolve, be creative, because you really had to kind of think of the new way of getting them in here. Everyone was still kind of hesitant whenever we first opened. With reason.
Yeah. Because y'all, it said August of 2020 is whenever y'all reopened?
So we actually tried to open in July 4th.
Yeah.
But there was still a lot of, government issues where we weren't really sure if we were cleared or not to do so. The artists were kind of still iffy. I think it was Neil McCoy who we had planned to have. So we sold a few tickets, but we just didn't really see people get excited yet to be back out in freedom, out of their homes and back out in the world. So we pulled back and waited a little longer. Did a lot of refunds during that time. I'll tell you that. I was in the ticketing world at that point. So I was one of the few that was still here. Let me tell you, Billy Bob's, when it's closed down, creepy. So dark in here. The neons are all off. And I was just like, I'm not going out there for anything. But yeah, just again, we just had to be that kind of leading light for people too. And people have told us, you know, if it wasn't for your venue opening, we wouldn't have known what we should do also.
Right.
We had all the elements that we needed against social distancing. We had to, unfortunately, had to enforce rules that weren't our own, and we'll leave it at that. But there was a lot of issues with that. But then finally, we got to take all that off. We got to unmask. We got to just be free to be roaming around, having fun, having a good time. This was, again, the beacon of places that were still open, still trying to function within the guidelines we were given, and still trying to have a good time. How can we deliver that? Again, we had plenty of time to think about it and execute it, and it worked out perfectly.
And there were places like Billy Bob's and a few other around town that they were kind of the pioneers for everybody else that was just had their hands up like, what do we do? What do we do? What's the answer here?
And I think with all the things that happen every day, you just find that solace in an experience somewhere. I'm going to go out and just stop thinking about all the rules and all the things that I have to follow for my own reasons. I want to go out and just have a good time and not think about that. And we provided that, and people were desperate to be out here doing that. So we got really lucky with that. And I did talk to so many other venue people. Hey, this is what we're doing. If you can execute this is going to work for you too, especially our neighbors in the stockyards.
It's always interesting to me listening to people talk about the different things that they implemented to make it work at their facility, because it was jumping through hoops and you didn't know if the hoop was about to move or
exactly. It was a moving target, 100%. But you know, we got lucky, and then we just kept growing in capacity. And I think also our square footage helped us.
Oh yeah,
being the big bad boy here, we got to have a little bit more people than normal because of the square footage.
So much square footage.
Yeah.
So this building, being as historical as it is, it's old. It's been used for a bunch of different purposes. If something that's not in the book, or at least I didn't find it, tell us about the ghost.
Well, okay, so again, during pandemic time was really when I felt like I was like doing double takes every now and then. We've had a lot of people experience a lot of different things. One of the stories, again, not really published because can't really verify it. Was that in the late 80s, early 90s, someone was doing something, you know, not PC in one of the bathrooms and overdosed and died.
Oh no.
So another person who we had experience, he first-handedly told me this story. He was like, I was walking through the Texas Club. It's one of our private rooms. There's its own bathroom. That's where supposedly this incident happened. That he was walking through and he just saw a lady in the corner. He was like, and he turned to look, being that the bar was probably closed at this point because he was a security person. And saw somebody and then didn't see them. And so he was like, what the heck? So he just like keeps walking, didn't walk through that club anymore. He was so scared. And I was like, I feel like I've seen something out of the peripheral of my eye in that same area. But, you know, it's just kind of like a quick glance and I just keep walking. I'm usually beelining really fast to wherever I need to go anyway. There's that one. There's also a showroom one who has the silhouette of a cowboy. And the picture that was taken and we looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, you can definitely see that, is a cowboy leaning up on one of the pillars. This is after hours, probably like 6 a.m. in the morning when the building is not open to anybody. We have overnight security. And so they were walking around and we're like, what the heck is that? Another story is one guy was walking through after close, shutting down the bars, cleaning up, walks through, feels a lime get thrown on the back of his leg, turns around, doesn't see anybody, but sees the lime.
Oh my God.
No one there. And he was like, I better get the heck out of here. Just like books it out of the showroom, back up to his station, you know. So there's been a lot of stories. And as you can, any place that's been around for a minute, there's probably going to be some residual something. Some of the electricity is probably a little bit of a friendly ghost too.
Well, ghosts or not, I feel like old buildings seem to, you can feel the life in them.
For sure.
And I don't know how hokey that sounds, but I think that's why whenever I see some of the older buildings either getting demolished or, you know, we lost LaGrave Field not too many months ago, and it's just so sad because these structures are more than just objects. It does feel like because of what's happened inside of them and around them, that they do carry their own little life signature in some way, and you can feel it when it's quiet.
Especially if it's a place that's been devoted emotions to. Like here, people usually having a good time. You know, every now and then you see people breaking up and making up in here. We've had several people get proposed to and actually have their receptions here. So, and then also just the excitement of music and all the elements that are here, the nightlife. Of course, there's emotion poured into these old walls, 100 years old or more. think about back then, whenever it was the oyster bar in that bar, and then there was, there's all these things. Of course, there's that emotion still lives in there. I fully believe that 100%. The building is still alive even when no one's here. So
I believe that.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. We haven't had an official ghost hunt yet, but I'm still down for it.
So this, I'll comment on this and then we can move on. But I feel like these ghost hunter shows, like everybody wants to know. Like I think one of the biggest questions as humans walking around, living life, we all think about afterlife. Like what happens after life?
Yeah.
So to find a ghost, to actually confirm and find a ghost, that would solidify the idea that there is, in fact, some type of afterlife.
Afterlife, yeah.
So there is nothing more important. If you found a ghost, if you found one ghost, would you not just stay in that location and analyze the hell out of it? You don't need a series traveling to different locations throughout the country or the world.
Yeah.
You would just find that one ghost, and then you would use every scientific tool you could to figure that out.
I think the ones that are more popular for sure are doing too much.
Yeah.
But some of the other ones that are a little bit more underground, maybe on YouTube only, I do feel like that's exactly what they do. Keep going back to that same house or that same whatever to keep capturing and verifying.
I mean, if you really legitimately believe that you found a ghost, you would investigate that.
Yeah. I mean, I've had some spooky experiences outside of the club too that I'm like, that's why I'm a believer. Just like heard my name whispered to me and weird things like that,
As we slowly lose our minds. Yeah, I've had a few things like that too, and you just kind of put it in the back of your mind and continue with life.
Until someone's like, hey, have you ever experienced this? I'm like, actually, yes, I have. But I mean, this old building, of course there's some kind of element here. I don't know, I don't remember if it's in the book or not, but this was also a slaughterhouse for cattle because this was Cowtown, right?
Yeah.
So that is why if you're ever walking through Billy Bob's, the closer you walk from the front down to the showroom, we're slanting downward, right? Because things need to be washed downward.
Oh my God.
That is why it is like that.
Okay.
It's not just you're thinking about, ADA rules. We're trying to also, that's just a extra bonus of the fact that we already had those elements here in the club.
Just a complete coincidence, but it turns out slaughterhouses are great for anybody in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
That's a weird way to put that.
Yeah. But silver lining.
Let's talk about this rodeo arena because so I'd been in here. I'd seen a couple of concerts and had no idea that arena was back there. And then one day I was in here and I saw it and I'm like, what is that? How is that there? Is that something else?
So semi-professionals sign up. So they're not the top tier yet.
Yeah.
They're earning
their
stripes.
Somewhere.
That's right, earning stripes, trying to win a little purse, a little chump change. But we actually work with the same person who facilitates the cattle and a lot of the rodeo animals for the Coliseum next door.
Is it CK?
CK Reed, yes. And he will then bring his bulls over here after they're done over there. So they work overtime. They come over here, and they're probably extra ornery even. I'm just probably like ready to buck off anybody at that point.
I'd be hoping they were a little wore out.
I know. You would think. But, so these semi-professionals sign up. Sometimes they're amateurs, too. Sometimes they're under the age of 18 with their parent approval, obviously. And they're just out here trying to build their name, And this is a smaller arena still, but it brings that quality because it's a Billy Bob's indoor arena kind of thing. So we get a lot of, and it is actually very heart-stopping to see. I get nervous watching it because I'm just like, please don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt while I'm watching. But there are times people have, lost their lives or gotten hurt really bad. And then you see them when they're recuperating and they're in their slings supporting the other ones, or whatever, it is a whole community in itself of these bull riders. They've got balls of steel.
Yeah, for sure. Even in my 20s, I had somebody suggest that we do it. I guess he had a connection and we were going to get on a bull, and I was super leery about it and ended up falling through and we didn't get to do it. But man, even in my 20s, I was like, I don't know if that's a great idea.
Exactly. We get a lot of people come in, they're like, we're going to ride the bull tonight. And I'm like, well, not really. We're not going to do that. It's an insurance nightmare, first of all.
Yeah.
But no, and a lot of people do also think that we have a mechanical bull. We don't have a mechanical bull indoors.
You got a picture bull.
We have a photo bull. You can take your picture on it and tell everybody it was alive once before, maybe. But what people are thinking of is that the fact that we have private events here, you could host your corporate event here, you could host your team building event here, your reception, whatever. You can rent a mechanical bull that comes with its own EMT licensed person to take care of you if you do break something on the way down.
Wow.
But it does not live in Billy Bob's.
Yeah.
There is one in the stockyards, but not in Billy Bob's.
Yeah.
We only have
for
real bulls.
for obvious reasons.
Yeah. So, and the bull riding is an additional thing. It's a feature here. So,
Yeah.
you buy a ticket to come to the concert, and you have these additional features that you are welcome to take pleasure in. So,
Yeah.
that's what we
This
do.
place is absolutely amazing, and I
Yeah.
love it.
And there's a lot of people that have no idea that it exists because they come here for the concert part
Right.
first. So I'm just constantly like, oh, check out the bull riding. It's pretty cool.
I'm going to do something, and I don't know if it's going to work or not. I hope it does. But I'm going to use this as the segue into the next thing I want to talk about. Will you look into that camera right there? And
Yep.
Amanda, will you tell Paul Wall hello?
Hi, Paul Wall.
My
homie.
I know that you guys are close, and
Yeah.
I want to point out that Billy Bob's is not just for country.
That's right.
And
That's right.
you were really excited to tell the story of Paul Wall sending you like a happy birthday for your last birthday, and I thought that was really cool.
It was so cool. Trust me, I've been a Paul Wall fan since high school, which by my appearance doesn't seem that far off, but it was. And so my high school boyfriend introduced me to Paul Wall, chopped and screwed music of Texas, and including Paul Wall. And so as an adult now, I was like, wait, what? Paul Wall's coming here where I work? Holy crap. Got to meet him and his manager Goo, amazing two humans, like so humble. And you know, they say never meet your heroes, but this is when you want to meet. Like he literally is the coolest person.
And I've heard that from other people.
He's
Like
so
he's just
chill.
a great guy.
He just makes you feel like you're the long lost friend he hadn't seen in a minute.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, he's a super cool dude. And so yeah, he gave me a birthday shout out, and him and Goo are just like they're like family members to me now.
That's awesome.
It's so cool, and I love sharing that with people. And yes, to the point, diversity here in Billy Bob's.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had somebody comment on social media. Do look at all the comments. I thought this place was all about country, in a connotation that was negative. And I quickly wrote, "We're a music venue."
Yeah.
Yes, we are the world's largest honky tonk. Our bread and butter for the longest time has been country music, and the country greats love them. But now we're in a different world. We're the new normal. Remember that
Right.
after pandemic. So we have a lot of rock that happens here. We have now hip hop that happens here. Somewhere on the pop country also happening here, and anything in between that's wanting to play. Anyone who wants to play here.
Yeah.
A lot of times you have these obscure shows because they wanted to play here. They heard about Billy Bob's. Paul Wall wanted to play here.
Right.
He also used to listen to George Jones and all the greats, Willie Nelson, all them, when he was a kid from Houston. So it made sense, like two worlds colliding.
Yeah.
Now he's bringing a different type of crowd, and everybody was well behaved and had concert etiquette and had a great ass time. So we welcome that.
Yeah.
That's what we want. What we don't want is anybody who's going to come here and trash our place or bring an element that maybe we don't really want to have here.
Right.
Any kind of, any of the gangster stuff. Leave that at the house, We don't need that. We can still have a good time and listen to all kinds of music together.
Yes.
So yeah, we're welcoming. We actually have an upcoming show with Shabuzi.
And is Jelly Roll playing this weekend?
Jelly Roll is not playing this weekend, but he is playing next week.
It's next weekend.
Yes,
Okay.
next Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Coming up Tuesday.
Yeah, and
Excellent.
Jelly Roll, I mean, again, when we had a Jelly Roll the first time here, it was outdoors.
Sounds like we're talking about pastries now.
Yeah.
First
Well,
time
when
I
I first
had
had a Jelly Roll, it was amazing. But when he performed here the first time, it was outdoors. And it was a little unruly, and they just kind of used us as any place for food or bathrooms that people needed.
Uh-huh.
And then it moved indoors, Texas heat. So it moved indoors. And is for such a great cause. He's helping ACM Lifting Lives this year. Tunnels to Towers is the other foundation that he helps. And a lot of things across the world for veterans families, EMS people, just everybody that is literally taking care of us. Honestly, I feel like that's exactly the people he's trying to help. Mad respect on that, because there's not a lot of artists that still give back, especially once they skyrocket to the moon, Like Jelly Roll has collabs all around town.
Oh, I thought that was a Katy Perry reference.
Maybe
Skyrocket
it
to the
was.
moon. Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum. Have you seen that meme where it's like only 2 pizzas were sold while Katy Perry was in space? It's like a Domino's posted it, and it's hilarious. Best one.
Hot and ready before Katy Perry gets back, or it's
Literally,
free.
Yeah. So we've had diversity is more prevalent now than it used to be. And
Well-
and additionally, mainly in Fridays and Saturday concerts were, again, our bread and butter. Now we're on Thursdays. We got some Sundays and a Tuesday every now and then.
Well, this is a great
People wanna come
opportunity for me to thank you, because what you're talking about is inclusiveness and supporting the community and making sure that everybody gets a chance at the table.
Yep.
And Fort Worth Roots, our tagline for years has been supporting small businesses and providing additional stages for local musicians. And we really are trying to be a connecting fiber for the city of Fort Worth. And so thank you so much, because just getting to sit here with you and do a recording at Billy Bob's, Texas is a huge help to us, our brand, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to do it, for sure. I mean, when I first met you, I was like, well, this is cool. That's why I asked you for a business card.
You did, and I gave myself paper cuts, ripping cards out of my pocket and throwing them at you. So
I think it's time to invest in the digital business card.
I've got it all. Well,
Okay.
you know what I do is I have these little QR codes,
Yeah,
and I just have people scan that so they can go to my Instagram, because that's my resume, that's my business card. Just going to Fort Worth Roots on Instagram. It's where we're most popular. So,
yeah.
But
Cool.
this has been great. I would love to do more with you guys. You know that. We're here for you. We're here for Billy Bob's. And is there any kind of like tags or social media that you want to throw out there? Is there any other things that we should tell folks before we get out of here?
Well, we're on all the social platforms at Billy Bob's Texas, spelled all the way out. We're constantly trying to bring the new flavor too. You know, so
is that a kitchen reference?
Maybe. Yes. We have sponsors too, but we always want to bring that local element back to home.
Right.
You know, and we remember there's a lot of people. George Strait started on the honky tonk stage. There's a lot of people who started on the first small stage, and so it could be you, artists.
Be you.
Yeah, you could come out here and it could be you. We have a lot of opportunities that we give to the up and comers, and then we see the ones that skyrocket to the moon so fast. Again, Katy Perry. Like Sam Barber, first time coming, December, already sold out same day.
Yeah,
we just don't know. And then I was like, who is this kid? I listened to his music and I'm like, holy crap, okay, I see the fire there. We want to see that in the new
there
generation.
was a page that I dog-eared, and I guess I passed it up, but inside the book it talks about 4 or 5 like huge names. Was George Strait one of them?
Probably.
That was on this stage, and whenever he got here, he was a nobody.
Yes, yeah.
And this is kind of their launching
Parker McCollum
point.
was one of them too.
Yeah.
Somebody was telling me a story. They're like, yeah, I remember seeing Parker McCollum on the small stage on Thursday night to like 300 people.
Yeah.
And now look at him. He's at American Airlines. He's just everywhere, you know. So, again, we want to bring diversity. We want to bring local talent through it. We know the next generation's coming. Where are you? Come to us. But yes, find us on socials. BillyBobsTexas.com is our website. Everything's there all the time. And I'm always just trying to get some new, fresh blood in here. Again, get them through the doors. That's where the magic happens.
Amanda Banda, everybody.
Yeah.
We would love to do this again with you anytime. Thank you again for having us on.
Thank you.
And is there anything else before we let these guys go?
We'll see you next time,
We'll
people.
see you at Billy Bob's next time.
Yes.
All right. Thank y'all for being here, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.
An absolute honor. Thank you, Amanda Banda. Thank you, Billy Bob's Texas, for having the Fort Worth Roots out there so that we could share what's going on with our friends that listen to our show and enjoy our social media content. You guys listening right now, you're the real champions. Thank you so much for your support. We cannot do this without you. If you're fresh to the show, you've never heard me talk before, my name is Andrew, and I am a full-time podcaster. This is all I do. And we are ready to do more. Our goal is to support small businesses and put more musicians on stages around town. But the other side of this, and we're always trying to get into more stuff, is entertainment. We're trying to entertain you guys while we do this other stuff. While we tackle our goals, we're also trying to create content for you guys so that you got something to enjoy, something local. And whenever I started all this, it came out of listening to a ton of podcasts. Number one, of course, was the Joe Rogan podcast. Absolutely still love that show to this day. But I wanted to do something local, and it really has turned into something incredible. And it's not a household name yet, but we want Fort Worth Roots to be the thing that connects our community. If you ever have an event coming up, if you're trying to get the word out about something you got going on, especially if you're a musician, an artist, an author, we want to help prop you up. So let us do that. Take an audio clip of you talking about what you got going on and send it in to us. media@fortworthroots.com is our email. Or you can take an audio clip or rather through the recording device on the Instagram DMs, or I think you can even do it on TikTok or Facebook. Just open up that app, leave us a little audio clip, and we will play it on the show. We're doing that because that's the whole point. We need a community that can get information out without having to go through big national brands. We keep our money right here in Fort Worth. It makes our community stronger. And the thing that I keep circling around to is whenever I'm talking to these small businesses that are struggling, they just don't know how to get the word out. There's so much information out there. So I'm trying to cultivate something where we can all meet in one place to get the information we need so that we know what's going on in our community. And we've had the mayor on, we've had city councilman Michael Crane on, fire department, police department, but also 99% of our content is musicians, authors, people that are doing something inside the community to make this what we love. So help me help you. Send us information anytime you got something going on, and we will proudly play it on the show. Okay, and Billy Bob's. Did I already say thank you? Thank you. Thank you to Billy Bob's. Thank you to Amanda Banda. You guys go check them out on Instagram. It's a great place to find information on what's coming up next. They've got all their links tied in to their Instagram page. It is just Billy Bob's Texas spelt out for you. All right, and so something else we do in these episodes is talk about our sponsors, but this is a Billy Bob's episode, so we won't be doing that in this episode, but our regular episodes, we talk about all of our sponsors helping us keep the lights on. If you'd like to see who's helping Fort Worth Roots keep the lights on, you can go to our website, fortworthroots.com, and hit that Trusted Sponsors tab. If you are a local business or 501c organization of any kind, listen, if you need to get the word out and you want to be a regular sponsor of this show, trust me, we have a package that will work for you. And we can only keep this thing going because of the generous contributions of our sponsors and our partner companies that are doing episodes on the show. So reach out to me, media@fortworthroots.com, and we can get the ball rolling. My favorite thing about Billy Bob's right now is just the vibe of that entire establishment. There's not one single thing in there that I like more than the other. I love it, the whole place. If you have not been to Billy Bob's yet, try it out. Go see a show, go have lunch, go to bull riding night. And oh, by the way, every Tuesday at McFly's Pub when we do our live recording, Amanda Banda has hooked us up with tickets that we can give away during our recording. So come on by and get one of them Billy Bob's tickets. We do a raffle, no purchase required. Everybody is welcome to join every Tuesday. So excellent. That is enough talking out of me. Thank you guys so much for listening and supporting the show, and we will see you on the next one. All right. See ya. Peace.